In just over 30 days from now, all of you Americans will be celebrating the 4th of July, Independence Day. That Independence Day marks the day when you had your freedom from the English. While you celebrate that, millions of people's homes will be repossessed just in California itself. So you may ask yourself, what does Independence Day really mean? And today, as a live broadcast, for the American people as well as the rest of the world, I will be giving you the means by which to claim your freedom. Because you know independence is not quite working out for you Americans, as the Canadians so rightfully witnessed that they have no rights, no independence. So as a result, in preparation, in the preparatory work that I want you to do, I have edited the broadcast that I did on Thursday, just on the wordplay alone, so you can prepare for the live broadcast, which I'm going to do in a few hours' time today, to meet that point in time called 4th of July, because you need to get your paperwork ready. And I will be showing you the means by how to actually claim that freedom as to opposed to independence. The following footage you're about to see is a re-edit of what I did on Thursday. It's very powerful and it is core material to what you Americans need to prepare yourself for, as well as the rest of the people on this planet, this earth, this world. In doing so, ladies and gentlemen, towards the end of this presentation, I want you to answer a question. What does the Supreme Court in every single country actually, truly mean? Because once you have geared that mind of yours that is yours, you'll be able to pen your way through this word called freedom, which means the dominion of that which is free. So, take notes, follow the logical conclusion of it, and you will be ready for today's live broadcast as I gift you Americans the ability to claim that which is always has been yours, your freedom. If I was to say, Ronald, he built me a brick wall, he constructed me a brick wall, and I didn't pay him because I said that he was an incompetent bricklayer. So I did not pay him because he built a terrible brick wall for me. Terrible. It was all wobbly, ready to fall over and all this sort of stuff. And I can't see myself paying for that. So I said to him, he's an incompetent bricklayer. What does incompetent mean to all of you folks?
No competence.
They're not up to the job.
Yeah, that they're not up to the job. We agree that if we leave the word in the word competent, we are clearly saying that this person or man or whatever it is incapable of doing something. And we've even used the word incapable to note that they are not up to the job, called incapable. And even like you are incorrect. We all agree that incorrect means that it's not correct. So like Ronald's wall was an incorrect wall because it didn't do its job, you know. So I can say that that was an incorrect wall. Yeah, like an incompetent surgeon, he would go to prison for being incompetent. We all agree on that. So How can any sane man or woman sit in front of us, look us in the face, and tell us that intuition means that you have some sort of internal guidance, when quite literally it means no, as in non-competent, non-correct, non. So we're left with this word that quite literally, by logic alone, would mean that it offers no tuition, that there is no tuition there. What does this mean? Why make this sort of an oxymoron? Why create an oxymoron like that? Well, the analysis, like with Parsee syntax, is very simple. Your subconscious mind, the higher functioning parts of your brain, which some people with faith believe is called a spirit. We just understand it as the study of the human spirit, called psychology. It would read that word to say that it means no. So when you utter these words, I have an intuition, that comes out of your conscious mind, and your subconscious mind just simply steps back and offers you no tuition. You've called out to it, let me have some intuition on this matter. My intuition told me. So if I was to say this to Matthew, that I had a moment of intuition, his conscious mind will listen to me, which is a very small fraction of what he is. They call that a kernel. And the rest of him that controls everything else, the 99.9% else, simply stands down. It cannot hear me. It can't do anything, because I have just told his subconscious mind, his spirit, that I had no tuition in what I'm about to tell you. When that happens, his subconscious mind will not offer me the help that I need. My subconscious mind, which is responsible for 99% of everything I do and everybody else, offers me nothing. It gives me nothing. It stands down. What is it that they're trying to rob? What is it that they're trying to explain? Obviously, they split the language. So to the subconscious mind, that same word intuition means something entirely different to what it consciously means. In fact, there are two different hemispheres. When you create a language to separate your own mind, they now got you separated from your own mind. They have created a dichotomy of the brain. So your subconscious mind can never speak to its conscious mind. And that's what we're left with. Let's just examine this a little bit further. Let's examine it in the world of poetry. Okay, I want to describe Jake as being an incredible man. I want to describe to the whole world that he's an incredible man. What would that mean just in normal language, under presumption and assumption, to say that he's an incredible man? What would that mean to us without any knowledge of Parsee or syntax?
I mean, he's amazing.
Yeah, I think he's a great guy. This is one of this is one unique guy. He's a great, marvelous man.
It would have to be a man or a woman that goes beyond what you normally see in other people. Something, another IN word, incredible, is to me someone who goes beyond the value I probably expect. It's a surprise that they have gone that far.
For me, it would be an extraordinary man.
Yeah, I would agree. So in my normal language, which I have honorably accepted through the education that I've had and stuff, that is an extraordinary man. Okay. And then, of course, we know through analysis and educating our subconscious mind, unconscious mind, and our conscious mind, Yeah. By the way, the unconscious mind means no mind. The subconscious mind means no mind. Conscious mind means with science mind. It's a mind, science with. C-O-N means with. So we know somebody somewhere has engineered this word as well. So only consciously, through presumption and assumption, that we are complimenting him of being inspirational, that he is an extraordinary man. Only consciously, where we have no little or no power unless the subconscious mind comes to our aid with that word. Unless it comes to our aid with the strength and knowledge that it has, that word is just floating around like a dangling participle verb, which is like a carrot in front of a donkey's face or nose. When it plows the land, it's promised a carrot. So what is it that they're trying to rob of us when we're trying to say Jacob is an incredible man? What is the root word of incredible?
Incredible. Credit.
So consciously, we believe he's an incredible man, but subconsciously and his subconscious, as importantly as it is, and our subconscious just said, this man has no credit. If this man has no credit, he can't speak to him, we can't talk to him, because there's nothing credible about him. Nothing credible about him. So it's all done superficially. Superficially. Now, we know through the studies and the information that I've released that you are actually the creditor of your nation. If a corporate entity or a parasite has found its way into our lives, psychologically or physiologically, this is the kind of stuff that it will come up with to rob us of our credit, which the governments have successfully stolen from you. The government is only the middleman. What's behind it is the religious men and women that live of your energy. Yeah. So those are my discoveries. But I want to come back to the full feelings that you must have to know that you have been violated from day one. Because how powerful is this if he's the credit of his nation? How powerful is it? How necessary is it for the debtors, which are the entire corporate governments, the stock market, and all of the bankers, all of them, to rob him of his ability to ever claim his credit and turn him into a debtor, where it is they that are the debtor? How important would that be? Let's imagine, Alpha, I owed you like $10 million. If I was a devious character, this is the kind of stuff that I will do to reverse the roles. And these things have been happening to us in our families as well. It's not just the bankers. I will create a language system and give it to him over many decades to get him to believe that he is actually the debtor and I'm the creditor. That's the kind of stuff that your churches, your corporatocracies, the pharmaceutical, the media, all do, and these are only a few that I've listed, all practice in order to remove the credit from you. And so they can keep it because they are a purely parasitical thing. So you can see what lengths that they go to with just one single word out of the millions that are out there, which are just as toxic. How important it is for the banks and the presidents and the prime ministers, the clergy, all of these freaks that inhabit, when the correct word is habit. Yeah. When they habit our world with this toxicity. Selling me a computer with a software that doesn't work renders the hardware or the computer useless to me. Unless I find a way of making that machine run without software. And such machines exist, by the way. They lied when they said computers need software. No, it doesn't. The software is the ideologies that we carry under presumption and assumption. So we see how important it is for them to rob us of our children, our homes, our bank accounts, etc., and make us the debtors because they swap the roles. And the judiciary, what they do is that they reward the rapist for raping and punish the victim for being a victim. I'm reminded of that movie called The Sixth Sense. There's a scene in there where the little boy is having a confrontation with this rather pathetic professors. I found most professors are completely and utter buffoons. Buffoons of unbelievable stupidity. Anyway, he tells the teacher or the professor that he sees a man hanging in the hallway up to a staircase. Yeah. And the teacher turns around and said, they don't do things like that. They said the boy turns around and said that the judges are the ones that hanged them. He was an innocent man and they knew he was innocent, but they hung him, and they hung thousands of people in that hallway because that was a courtroom and they did the hanging there to kill innocent people. And they take great joy in seeing innocent people being murdered. And that is also something that the general public needs to fuse in their minds, that you are dealing with not a misguided animal or an animal that is, an animal, by the way, means corporation. Yeah, creature or critter means part of creation. That's why they got you saying it's a creature, it's it's anything but. Okay, a being is not a creature. It's actually a corporate creation. So what is it that I'm saying? The judiciary and the things that back them up are 100% geared in raping you, your children, harvesting your organs, and doing everything that your senses would vomit at. And that is the feeling that they have to understand, that they are confronted by a being that is so pernicious, so disgusting. You have no choice but to hang it. A death sentence needs to be passed on these things because they're not men. They can't even claim to be human, even though human means corporation. They are so toxic and deadly. Death sentences needs to be passed to them because they have openly shown you how guilty they are of what they've done. Yeah. And they do it all with this language. It's all done with the language. I mentioned the word superficial. I mentioned the word superficial to use. Can I ask you folks, what do you think the word superficial means in just everyday normal language?
To me, it, originally meant fictitious. It's superficial. It's not real. That's what I was taught in school. So that's what it's meant for a long time.
Yeah, that's what it means to me, even to this day, that, we don't find ourselves being superficial people, that we actually work away from being superficial. I mean, that's quite easy to understand. I'm very thankful for that, even though it's a negative word, I'm very thankful for it. But last week, I read a little article from George Bernard Shaw, and it said you need to become a Superman. How many children on this planet believe that Superman is the savior? How many one of us have been reaching for Superman, Superwoman, supercorporation status? How many of us have believed religious figures and political activists are all super beings, that there are gurus and, these gurus and hurus, and that are incredible Superman, super beings with super strength and super this, super diet, super strength, super strong, when we have 100% proof that super actually means superficial. It's the very opposite. How many people have been on psychological journeys, and these motivational therapists and these motivational speakers, and 99.9% of them are all con artists, have getting people to work on being superhuman, building up a super business? It's because you are constantly reaching for superficiality. And they're trying to convert people like us into being Superman, when Jake just explained it to us that it means superficial. Super quite literally means it's nonsense. It's less than veneer. Yeah. That's the level of toxicity in the language. And those are only 2 words in the English dictionary, which are identical in German, which are identical in French, because they're all Latin origins. That's what it means. Man and Superman is a book on how to train yourself to become a superficial man. Once you become a superficial man, you can no longer claim manhood or womanhood. And hence you've lost your credibility, subconsciously, consciously, and to everybody else. That's the horror of all of these things. The good news, of course, is that David Way Miller fixed all that. He ended the world of fiction language. Fiction language. And on the Tricks and Traps, I think it's on the 10th of July, I'll be starting a series on how to do the whole thing on parsing, syntax, grammar, which Alex will be teaching us through the Tricks and Traps. First time ever being done in history, that is, for the Tricks and Traps students. They will actually have 100% knowledge on how parsing and syntaxing actually works. And when you have that knowledge, you see the documents say nothing. They're just Shakespearean. And because the images are so strong in people's minds about these Shakespearean images, Superman, superficial, incredible, incompetent, a man, all of these subhumans, sub means no, as in Subhuman means no human. Yeah, submarine, it means no marine law. Because below 4 meters, I think it is, or 12 feet, previously, 4 or 5 years ago, there was no marine law. Hence, the Russians or the Americans could come right into the Hudson Bay with their nuclear weapons and things because there was no law controlling it. And they used to do that frequently. The Russians used to come right through Hudson River, past New York, do their maneuvers and go back out. And the Americans used to do the same thing. Why am I telling the audience this? The words that you are using in everyday language either give you things or they completely rob you. And we know 99% and more of the words are so toxic, it creates a division between you and you. It creates a division where you are no longer speaking to your higher functions and you are now at loggerheads with your own self, what we call inner conflict. Hence, mankind, womankind is in a perpetual state of inner conflict. Should I not? And they call this the push and pull factor. So famously narrated by Dr. Dolittle, the animal that has a head on both ends, constantly pushing and pulling itself. They are talking to your children. They're saying that we are going to push and pull you until you cut yourself in the middle.